The Blitz, the photography of George Rodger, with an introduction by Tom Hopkinson. This edition, I think, was about 94, Bloomsbury Books. I think it was originally published by Penguin in around 1990. You can buy this book for less than £1 on Amazon and other online bookshops. It's a great little book. I wanted to show it, I wanted to share it with you. George Rodger's an amazing photographer. I was lucky enough to meet him many, many years ago, and he was a lovely man, a lovely presence, and I'm very honoured to have once stood in his presence. This book here was around the 40s, the Blitz, probably the most successful pre-1950 photojournalist, I think. I might be wrong. I'd like somebody to talk about that if they want to. This series of images led him on to other assignments, and for having the first footage of the Belsen German concentration camps, which I know had a major, profound effect on him for the rest of his life. And then I think he went over to do his ethnographic studies in Africa. And then I think about 47, he joined Magnum and he became a sort of National Geographic photographer. So let's have a look at some of the titles. Like I said, it's 176 pages. It's so here's the chapters: Making Ready, Women at Work, Blitz and Rescue, One Lump or Two, Life on the Streets, Life Underground, The Children's Blitz, Business as Usual, Hit Back. Introduction by Tom Hopkinson. And I just wanted to show this because he's a great photographer. His African studies were amazing, but I just love it. I just think it's a real insight into of what's gone before us in our life, and in terms of our lifestyles and culture, but just another photographer who's passed us by and left his legacy. And you've got to realise how important this insight is. Maybe even not so much to us now, but in 100, 200 years, it's going to be interesting that we're a very well documented civilization. And I shudder to think what it's going to be like in another 100 years. So, battery of pressed men on Shakespeare Cliff in Dover, waiting to photograph the expected invasion. Oh, it's so matter of fact, isn't it? I think I've even stood down there. That's the River Patrol. And this is the making ready, getting prepared, I guess, for the Home Guard. Policemen with the white sleeve cuffs, private cars display notices, free lifts at your own risk. Amazing. So the gloves were white lined to show in the dark, and I guess that's what this was, the white cuffed policeman, and using white on the ground level to show up, I guess because of everything was pitch black. So this is about economical fashions and how fashion and functional, I'm not sure what this is made out of, but it almost looks like army material. Women at Work. It's an interesting passiveness to this, isn't it? It's very posed. I guess people weren't really used to it, were they? Of people coming into their workplaces and photographing it. But it must have been a lovely time. Everybody's so innocent in terms of having that picture taken. It must have been a real novelty then. The Telegraph, the Underground Telegraph Exchange, Whitehall. These are pictures you see in the movies, aren't they? Factory hands, no more manicures or painted fingernails. An art student decorates hoardings at a shattered Oxford front, at shop fronts in Oxford Street. I guess he's out capturing daily life, isn't he? So some of this is obviously newspaper led, and he's the man out capturing daily life and capturing the aftermath. An air raid warden finds a telephone that's still working. Isn't it? It's such an innocent shot, isn't it? It's very straight, beautifully exposed. It's got a lovely dimension to it and a surreal quality to it. It's wonderful. So this is the Blitz and Rescue. This is Oxford Street. There's no particular date, but I presume it's all 1940. But to be honest, I haven't read the front, and I have, but I can't remember what the actual precise year is. I'm presuming it's 1940. If you can get a hold of the first edition, and you can get it for under a tenner, I would get it. I mean, this probably is worth £1 if you can pick it up. And I think George Rodger was a fantastic photographer, and these are nearly 70 years old. It doesn't seem like yesterday, and look how far we've come in terms of, or look how far we've come in certain ways, but in terms of technology and in terms of picture taking. That's nice, isn't it? Air raid wardens. And I'm sure many of us, like myself, these people could have been our grandparents, and mine certainly were. And I'm sure, going back to this air raid warden shot, that's what my granddad did. He was a lookout. I think he was too old to go to war, and he was a lookout for at the top of the factories up in the north, and he was like an air raid warden lookout person. Because I remember him telling me that he used to have pictures of the silhouettes of the bombers and the aeroplanes. I'd love to know what film he shot this on and what camera. I'm guessing it's got to be German-based. The camera may be a Leica, but some of the format, I'm not sure whether it's got a sort of crop on it. I'm not sure if it's 35mm. I presume it is. Somebody knows, tell me. Look at that. The resident salvages what he can from the blitzed home. This is Blitz and Rescue. This film holds up really well for such an old film. There's lovely tones on it. Look at that. It's incredible. You know, this is streets where we're walking down every day. It's just a real... This is in Coventry, I think. So it's not just looking at London. And one number two, now I get it. This is what looks like the Great Cup of Tea, isn't it? It's the British coming together, cup of tea. Volunteer helps arrive with the food and clothing, and most importantly, the tea to comfort the victims of the Blitz. Tea, wow. Look at that, that's lovely. Yeah, let's just drop this down. Give it a bit of time to focus. Isn't that lovely? This is all in Coventry. Life on the streets, a news vendor. So I guess this is just things happening again. No entry, unexploded bomb. And there's a bit of text at the side here. I guess this is the writing of Tom. Oh, these are lovely. Look at that. Now there's some dates on this. This is Piccadilly Circus, 1940. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? This is so different to what's going on now. But I noticed the bus still turn off there as well. And this is... Only buses are running because the petrol shortages. And this is Coventry. This is all street. This is... I mean, other stuff's street photography, but this is street photography, isn't it? This is 1940 street photography. It's got that feel, hasn't it? It's just got that snapshotty. London's gone about their business on a quieter than usual Oxford Street. Very surreal. Oxford Circus, after the first bomb fell in 1940. Soldier on leave. What's this? People gather below Nelson's Common for a lunchtime concert. That's fantastic, isn't it? Red Cross Flag Day. A topical mural decorates a bomb-blasted shop front. That's great. Yeah, look at the LCD. They look so modern. They look like... This looks like it could have been shot last month in London. And there's the sort of Selfridges corner as well on Oxford Street. And it just looks all the same as it is today. And look at that. Let's just drop this. It's beautiful. A group of elderly East End residents are evacuated. And the kids there. Beautifully exposed. He's obviously gone to these things. I wonder if he's told in advance. And it's like proper news photography, isn't it? It's capturing stuff. You're making it look so simple. And it's like little things like that. Just capturing events and simple things which is happening. I filled the frame with that. Passers-by anxiously scan the night's casualties list. Wow. Got a surreal atmosphere and lifestyle. A householder manages to salvage a family picture, which is that one there. Oh, look at that. Pray not to find the name of a relative or a friend. It's beautiful. And what I did find in this was a lottery ticket. It's an old one. It's got the numbers on. I'm going to put them on. I actually only found this the other day. And so I've got a lottery ticket with numbers in, which was interesting to find in the book. I love it when you buy a second-hand book. You never know what you might find in it. So this is people, this is life underground, this is the lifestyle, this is the people and offer shelter during a daytime raid. People dancing, drinking, getting on with it, I guess. The cup of tea, women's services personnel, the entertainers, a coat rack displays the hats of the RW, the WRNS, the WAAF and the ATS. A first aid room and an underground shelter. High society, I guess, by the looks of it, where brandy and cigars could still be enjoyed in the underground. Wow. And there's a sort of juxtaposition here, a breakfast in the morning, and then there's the nighttime bedding. Wow. I guess that's the sort of gentry, isn't it? And then this is the masses. This is where I'd be, in here, in the community shelter. I'd rather be in there, although the cigars and the brandy are appealing, I have to admit. Everybody tucked in for the night, but I think I'd definitely be in the community shelter. Oh, it's beautiful, look at that. I've seen this shop before. This is the Children's Blitz, Paddington Station. It's lovely, isn't it? I'm sort of missing quite a bit out here. There is lots of stuff. That's amazing. This is just the stuff you see in television programmes and documentaries and movies. And I'm looking at stuff which is part of my culture 70, 80 years ago. And it's a lovely insight. And, you know, I'm so thankful he was doing this. And it could just be yesterday, couldn't it? Casualty station. These are children getting fresh clothing. Families, look at this. It looks like an East End shop. No, this is Coventry, actually. Made a mistake and just jump up on that. That's beautiful. Look at that. The morning after the Baedeker raid on Mother and her children, I don't know what that raid was. It must have been a particularly bad raid, I presume. People of Coventry, I presume, may know that. This is the Grand Hotel in Dover. This is Dover again. This is right in the front line, isn't it? Effectively, in terms of our borderline in our country. Rank upon rank of lead soldiers filled John Lewis's Christmas shop window. Wow. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Coventry boys have just been dug out of their rubble in their streets. Bless them. They survived, that's the main thing. It was such a great shot. It's business as usual. Mr. Hitler, great English spirit. Oh, look at that. That obviously looks like London, doesn't it? It's beautiful. And it goes on, you know, there's so many great shots in this. And quickly this one. They're setting up the shop, bra shop on the pavement and all the rubble behind. And there's a shot. The snack bar offers a special air raid breakfast. I don't even know how much that is. That's incredible. Get out and get this. It's a lovely book. It's a lovely insight to what's gone before us. A great photographer, a great man. I find some of it quite emotive. You know, I've lived in a few of these places. What I've looked at here, and it reminds me of my grandparents and the life what went before us, and we should be so grateful for who we are and where we've come. And thank you to George Rodger for sharing these pictures and taking them and giving us an insight into something I feel privileged to have witnessed now and we may never have been able to see. Rest in peace, George. Thank you. Keep subscribing to the channel and get out and get this book. You can get it for £1. It's well worth an insight. You'll learn from it. Thank you very much.